nobody wants to give a real answer. Nobody's willing to make a commitment. I don't know the last time that a politician actually did what they said they were going to do. Hey there, welcome to The Simple Podcast, and I'm Todd C. Slater, the Simple Investor. I got to tell you, we just finished up the show for News Talk 1010, and you know what? Now we get to take the muzzles off. We get to have some fun. In-house right now, I've got Tim Syrianos, I've got Dave Butler. You know what? The biggest thing is that we have what we call a real estate talk triangle every single month, but right now, I think that we need to convert it, and now we got to have the real estate vet triangle. Okay, forget about talk. We got to turn around and let people know exactly how we feel about the bullshit that continues to happen in the world of politics and how it influences real estate. I mean, look, we can wrap this whole thing up in a big kumbaya moment and sit there and say, hey, the government's doing a great job. No, they're not. We all know they're not. Okay, we need more properties. They think that they're going to produce them. No, they're not. Okay, they keep making all these excuses, and all we do is get fed the same crap every single week, and nothing is resulting in what's going to help Canadians. So the one thing you'll always know about this podcast is that I like to focus on the most important thing, that's you, and I want to make sure that you are taking care of yourself. That's right. Forget about the government, forget about pensions. The most important thing you need to do is own real estate for yourself, own it for the future, own it for your kids, the next generation. And that's one of the most important things that you can do. My two guests, they focus on this exactly. So Dave Butler, I'm going to start with you. Look, one of the big things we keep hearing, don't own, we don't want investors owning real estate. Yeah, everything else is everybody else's problem. We've created, hey, we're going to build 12 homes. We are going to solve the housing problem 10 houses at a time. I swear to God, Dave, they don't have a frickin' calculator or a thought in their head how to solve the problem.
No, they're really good at photo ops though, and they're fantastic. The press conferences look fantastic, but the stuff coming out of their mouth is ridiculous. Announcing they're going to build 442 homes somewhere while you're bringing in millions of people, and you got red tape all over the place. No one can build. Builders are just, I know Tim can talk about this, but any builder that I've ever talked to in the last year, probably year and a half, are figuring out their plans to not build and to save money and to wait and hopefully wait out the next government change potentially. But you allude to the craziness that's going on and the madness and the political theater and comedy. We talked about it earlier, but Justin Trudeau doesn't think about monetary policy, told the world that years ago, and here he is claiming that, well, if inflation's down to 2.9, the Bank of Canada should be lowering rates. Meanwhile, Bank of Canada says, no, man, you're spending too much money, and that's what's keeping inflation high. So we're watching literally a political comedy movie in front of us, and sadly, as Canadians, we're not just patrons of this movie. We're actors. We're like stand-ins on this, and
so Tim, I'm going to go to you on this one because here's my analogy. So every single time Justin Trudeau steps in it, he fires somebody in his cabinet. He uses them as an scapegoat. Like, he's such a quintessential narcissistic approach. So now I think, and I'm going to throw this out. Hey, Tiff Macklin, make sure you polish up that resume. My concern is if Tiff doesn't move fast enough and doesn't go to beat of Justin's drum, he might even sit there and make a suggestion that Tiff's not doing his job.
That'd be political suicide beyond, I believe, at this point, because as I said earlier in the show, I said that 30% of true liberals do not even want Justin Trudeau to be there. I think that people are on to the drive-by smearing that's going on right now. Like, that you're kind of a sinking ship as a leader anytime that you start to see the only way that you can get any kind of FaceTime or sound bites is by talking negatively about somebody else, right? That's all you're seeing right now. And that's just the political electoral drum starting the beat really, really loudly. Again, a third millennials. I mean, it was on a poll. Millennials who are primarily liberal are not going to vote liberal this time around.
Well, that's because they got the marijuana approved. No, hang on for a second, okay? But okay. So you
I would think that would make them happier and keep them there longer. But anyway,
somehow it's made them smarter.
Yeah.
Not going there, Dave. Anyway, but here's the thing. So Tim, you touched on something, and it's about the political atmosphere and how this one party seems to be doing this. So I've been witnessing a ton of interviews, and you guys can talk about this as well, but here's what happens. They turn around and they get asked a direct question. Well, we're going to consider it. We're going to turn around and take a poll. We're going to turn around and do this. We don't have a comment on this yet, but we are going to go to our stakeholders. We're going to do a study. But the other guy's not doing his job. All they do is push blame from to another party, everything that's done wrong. But you can't get an answer. And I watched a politician get asked the same question 5 times in a 10-minute interview, and that person did not answer the question, refused, even when they were pushed. Dave, this is, to me, do they go to school to turn around not to be able to answer questions? I mean, it is...
I can answer this for you if you want.
Yeah,
Go right ahead.
As a matter of fact, they do. There is training. There is PR training. And I'm telling you this because I took it, right? So I took PR training when I was going to become the president of TREB. Before that time came, about 3 months before, they knew that I'd be on TV a lot.
Right.
They knew that I'd be asked pointed questions, and they gave videos of different leaders of different parties over the last 50 years of how not to answer and how to answer, not to how to answer, definitely not how to answer, but also, your mannerisms, the way that you come across, the way that they could be perceived. All these kind of things are actually really there. So yes, there are courses that you can take even on your own if you want. I mean, you're doing great the way you already are. You're doing great the way you are. But I'm just saying that you can take courses. They actually are there. I don't follow that.
I'm sorry,
that direction.
I don't think I need a course to tell people to F off. I mean, I think I got
No,
that
you
one
don't.
handled.
No, you don't. No, you don't.
I think I got that one under control.
No, but the question was, is there a course? And the answer is yes.
Yeah, but here's my problem is that nobody wants to give a real answer. Like they go around it so many times. Nobody's willing to make a commitment. I don't know the last time, other than putting the country more in debt, that a politician actually did what they said they were going to do.
Absolutely. I mean, again, you have right now one party who's threatening to pull the plug. You have one party who's going around making promises in every chance they get, and they're scrambling. They're looking for any type of report that can possibly provide an answer to something that should have been taken care of 10 years ago.
Wow. Did it? I don't know. I know you and I don't, we use them as punching bags. Look, I know you're into like all sorts of boxing and you do a lot of fitness stuff. I'm not sure which picture you have that you're hitting.
I rotate between Trudeau and Chrystia. Our biggest thing, and I think, the thing that I look at the most is they're playing with our lives. And I think that's what's pissing me off. That's what's, I think, I've never, admittedly, I didn't care about politics truly for, even pre-COVID, I would say. I was head down. I was running my business. I cared about mortgages. I did that every day. That was my life. Since COVID, I don't know what it is, but, and I know what it is. I'm watching the destruction of something that took so long to build, which was just our Canadian kind of feel, what made us cool. Like, I remember you'd go to the States and you'd go to other countries. They'd always say, we love Canadians. You guys are so nice. You guys are like cool. You're different than people, let's say, in the States, as an example. And it's, what though? The last year of my travels, I don't hear that. I don't hear that at all. And I think, it's because maybe as Canadians, we're not so happy anymore. And so when we're traveling these places, we're not showing, how nice we are anymore. And I think that's just, in my opinion, sad. And I do believe it's been ruined by the people that are running our country, because this could have been avoided. There could have been things that could have avoided this. And I just feel like they were put in power. They've done what they've done. And now, in my personal experience, they haven't done what they said they were going to do. I think we need to get them out. We need to get a breath of fresh air and just get our country getting back to that old feel.
Yeah, it's good. It's going to be damage control, okay? Because at this point, it's not just getting in a new government, new direction. It's going to be mass damage control, clean up the mess that's been made. I agree with you when you are abroad. This past year I did a little bit of traveling and people would turn around and said, well, your accent, I'm Canadian. They go, you got that guy.
Yep.
He's an idiot for a leader. Don't you? Like they identify.
We got laughed at.
Oh yeah, completely. And you know, complete clown. And so, you know, when other people from other countries recognize your leader as a clown, I mean, you know, before, like you said, well respected, you know, I used to travel the world as a national athlete, Canadian flag on my back, proud as anything else, be able to go anywhere. People would invite me into their houses for dinner. Restaurants would open up their arms to our team. Yep. You know, the ski team, we could turn around basically. If we were anywhere in Europe, anywhere in the world, it was like, hey, you're the Canadian team, come on in. You know, we were treated amazingly. Yep. Like you said, I think the respect has been lost. And now it's trickled down so much that every single Canadian's being affected. Tim, my biggest concern is to right the ship. It's going to take years and decades to right the ship. We've got the border wide open. We need to close a huge part of that so we can play catch up, because if not, we're still going to drown.
Are we talking about building a wall?
You know,
listen, I mean, true leadership is stepping out of the way. That's my personal opinion, right? And it's time that, you know, demonstrate true leadership. When it's not about you, you step out of the way, right? And that is what's needed right now. You know, we need to have an election. We need to have, whether you're a liberal or a conservative or an NDP, it's time. I personally believe that they're going to question the leadership of the NDP as well. Mm-hmm. I think that he's up for a review and he will not make it. That's just my secondary opinion on that. So I think that it's going to be scorched earth in this next election coming forward. The Liberal Party and the NDP, you know, with the Liberal Party dropping so dramatically, you've seen no uptick whatsoever of the NDP. No. Like, think like, when have you ever, usually those two parties, you know, fight for, you know, the election, right? Yep. You're not seeing any of it, right? No. So this is going to be a wilderness walk, you know, for those two parties going forward. And then after that, I think we're going to have to look at what's going to happen after that, right? The next 4 years after.
Yeah, agreed. Well, look, guys, thanks for staying after hours here. Of course, Simple Podcast. We have a lot more fun, and you know, we can let loose a little. And of course, the most important thing that we always will circle back around is the fact that real estate ownership, it's up to you to own it. It's up to you to protect it. It's up to you to maintain it and control it. But most importantly, it's up to you to be able to buy it for the future of your kids, next generation. That's the ones we should be focusing on today. Anyways, thanks for tuning in to the Simple Podcast. I'm Todd C. Slater, the Simple Investor.